All right, we're live.
Live on YouTube. Okay, great. Hello, everyone. Welcome to 96 Sports Open Hours. My name is Robert Wolf, and today is July 5th, 2018. We are here to talk to you about a couple new boards and a great new company who has joined under the 96 Boards partner roster, Shiratech. In just a moment, we're going to introduce two of the folks here on the call, Ramon and Guy, but we need to go through some announcements first. So if Ramon, Guy, you want to give me a thumbs up real quick, we're going to do some announcements and then go on introductions. Excellent. All right, cool. So introductions first, or announcements, I should say. Last week, we had an episode with the folks from GroupGets and QWERTY Embedded. So Ron Justin and Michael Welling from QWERTY and Ron Justin from GroupGets, talking about a crowdfunding initiative that has been paired with our 96 Boards community initiative. Now I'm going to share some links in the chat so you can go through the video. Of course, there's the video of the last week's episode. After the episode, I pushed out a small blog. In fact, in the blog, you can also get access to the video that we had. It's like an hour long, so you can poke through it or you can watch the whole thing. And then for anyone who is interested, the people that work with 96 Boards, there is a crowdfunding campaign going on. This is the first ever 96 Boards crowdfunded mezzanine that we've ever launched. Unfortunately, it might not get funded, but we did learn a lot from this process. We talk about this thoroughly in the video and how we plan on adjusting our methods for launching future mezzanines, future community mezzanines through this initiative. So definitely recommend checking that out. And hopefully, Sahaj, maybe if you could post the mezzanine community website and repository there so that we can get also some word out on that too. We'd love it if anyone likes to stop by and contribute. One more thing here, actually two more things, is that Lenaro Connect is, kind of right around the corner. We start announcing this a few months beforehand. Lenaro Connect, that is the website. It will be in Vancouver, Canada, this biannual meetup. And Shiratech, which we will talk about this, I have some questions lined up, hopefully we'll be there as well. So, if anyone is interested, you can even go meet the folks here at Lenaro Connect later. Last but not least, I have our 96 Boards forums. So I get a lot of emails on a daily basis, just people asking me questions. I get posts or questions in social media, and I just want to, let everyone know that if you have questions, I love to answer these questions. Send me the questions, they're fine. However, in a lot of cases, it's nice to get the answers out to the community as well, right? So I would recommend going to the forum, posting a forum post, and then contacting me with the link to your forum post. That way, I can either go in and answer the forum post, or I can forward it to someone who I think might know the answer better than me. So that's another good way to get your questions answered and also help the community in the process. So there's the Lenaro 96 Boards forums. Suggest checking that out. And that's it. We're ready to move on. All right, so here we go. Shiratech Solutions, the website. I'm going to post this. Shiratech Solutions, the company, and Ramon and Guy, the representatives here to talk about it. So I guess let's go into introductions. Maybe each of you take turns telling us about yourself.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
Well, Ramon Horkany. I'm VP Sales in Shiratech. So the technology questions, I'll be very quickly handed over to Guy all through this broadcast, but I'll try to be a bit independent, show a bit some light here. So I'll do my best.
Excellent. And real quick, actually, would you mind? I'm sorry for interrupting, Guy. Could you give us a little bit of a personal background as well, Ramon? Like what did you study? Did you go to school? And I don't know, something a little bit more personal.
Well, I did go to school. Not a lot to talk about that. I'm not an engineer, that I can't say. I studied Japanese, my first degree, and business administration. And then I did second degree in MBA in Israel and a bit also in Wharton. And that's about me. I have 3 kids, beautiful kids. Like diving, like walking, reading. That's about me.
Awesome. All right, cool. Thank you. How about you, Guy?
Okay, so my name is Guy Zohar. I think you should put the comment to me because it shows you. Okay, we are sitting together here. We have a very complex setup. Okay. So my name is Guy Zohar. I'm responsible for the R&D in Shiratech Solutions. I'm a hardware engineer. I have about 20 years of experience in board design, high-speed board design. Most of the time I designed network and communication equipment, mostly very large-scale setups. Also have some experience in developing medical equipment. That's it. A little bit about me. We sit here in my home in the kibbutz, in the Mediterranean Sea, along the Mediterranean beach. We enjoy the very hot weather.
How hot is it?
I think
Around 30 degrees.
30 Celsius, not
Celsius,
Yeah.
not Fahrenheit, of course.
But it's very
Actually,
humid,
what
right?
Guy,
yeah.
because near the beach. But actually, what Guy really wants to say that they are now in a great battle against a gas. How do you call it? A gas. When they're going to put a pipeline of gas just by here, so they have a big battle here. So this is a major part of his life now.
Oh, nice.
Okay, thank you for this lead.
Yeah. Well, both of you, thank you for the introductions. Appreciate that. You know, get a little bit more of a personal level here, but yeah, we can move on now. I want to start off by saying, hey, Shiratech Solutions, right? People might not know what Shiratech Solutions is, where it's located. You guys said you're located out on the Mediterranean Sea. How big is the company? What does the company do? And maybe you can give us a little brief on that.
Okay, so I'll take the camera and microphone. So that's a good question. And we have a presentation. Shall I share the presentation?
Yeah, we can start off. Yeah, sure. No, please go ahead.
Okay.
Can you test the screen share?
Okay. 1 minute. Where's the screen share?
So it should be along the right side. There should be a button there, maybe, I hope.
Screen share, yeah, there is. Tell me when you see it.
All right, it looks like it is loaded. I see gray. Uh-oh. Could this be the browser, Sahaj? Maybe because
here, it came up, I think.
Oh, there you go. It's up now.
Okay.
Excellent.
So we're based in Israel, as said before. The company is now 12 people. So we have a hardware engineer, software engineer, production, finance, but altogether it's 12 people now. We're focused on two main lines. It's the first line that we started before, which is system on modules and IoT gateways. And here we have developed these system on modules based on a standard called SMART. We'll talk about it a bit later. Our second line is, of course, the 96 board community boards, and this is the fastest line now, growing very much, and you'll see a lot of new boards later on. The company has deep technology expertise since the R&D people have, almost all of them have about 20 years of experience, really very experienced people. For all our system on modules, we have a plan which is called the longevity plan, which means that we commit to supply it for many years, for some of them for 7 years, some of them even for 10 years. Our production is in-house because we are part of a group which is called AY Electronics, which has its own assembly production line. And we also offer hardware and software design services. As you can see, there's a big 96 partner here on this line.
So let me ask, maybe this is covered in here, but out of curiosity, personal curiosity, how did you hear about 96 boards?
Actually, we mainly heard about them from Aero Electronics, which they introduced us to this community. They said that it's a very, very fast-growing community, great community, very. I'll stop giving you all kind of to flatter you. We had it from Aero Electronics.
No, keep it coming. Keep it coming.
They said there was but there's a terrible guy called Robert Wolf.
Oh,
Besides
no.
that, everything's fine. Yeah. He has a penguin on his shoulder usually.
Where? Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so our offering is community boards. That's mainly to help developers to start and also to minimize the effort of getting started. System on modules and IoT gateways, the people that don't know what system on modules are, these are small computer boards the size of a credit card, and you can use them in your design as a ready-to-use module. So the concept here is fast time to market. You can use the system on modules or the IoT gateways instead of developing it by yourself, and it's a commercial device. It's not a development board. And the third point of the offering is development services to get you there or to your point of your product even faster. So these are the main points of our offering.
So with Shiratech, I want to kind of like dig a little deeper on this because it looks like we're going to be going into your product line. A spoiler, I actually got to see all these slides beforehand, right? But when it comes to the services that you're offering, you have 96 boards, and this is something that I think people should know, right? Like things that make 96 boards unique compared to some of these other single board computers that are out there is this path to product. And not only the path to product, but the path to product with partner-backed services, right? So for instance, you have a board like some of these products that Shiratech is going to show us, but you have a board that you're using, a 96 board, right? When you develop on this 96 boards, you have companies, partners, 96 boards partners like Shiratech ready to help you move forward. Is that correct in saying that? You guys like you want people to use 96 boards for their products, right?
Yes, maybe Guy, do you want to add here?
Okay. Actually, yes, Robert, you're right. We strive that people will use these boards not only for development purpose, but also we'll try to combine them in the final product. For instance, the first mezzanine that we will show very soon, the LTE mezzanine, there is a lot of interest of taking this mezzanine as is and putting it inside as part of a final product, making the certification and all of this. And of course, we are willing and ready to help to anyone who needs this help.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. So
you also asked. You asked about partners. Maybe I didn't catch it. What do you mean that partners that can help? You mean the vendors that we are designing the mezzanine based on? What did you mean?
Oh, well, I just mean the transition. I mean the transition from developing on a 96 boards to, possibly getting some derivative design or using your boards in the product, approaching you for services. Because 96 boards doesn't offer these services, but the boards lead to the path towards these services, right? So, I mean,
yes.
that's kind of what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, I understand. So the 96 boards, the mezzanine boards, currently we did only mezzanine boards. So you're right. So doing these boards, we have connections to the vendors that we use the chips. QuickTel, for example, we're talking about the LTE and sensor board. And so we have a good connection. We have good insight in terms of the information, and we'll try to bring everything out into the community. So it's part of the concept of the community that they don't need to ask. No one needs really to ask us personally. We'll try to serve all this information out to the people without asking us. But still, if someone wants a service from us based on our experience doing these mezzanines, of course, we can assist. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, yeah. Sorry, keep going, yeah.
Okay, so actually, I'm not going to go too much about the SOMs, just to introduce what we have currently. On the left-hand side, you can see it on the right-hand side of the screen. You can see two boards. The smaller board is the system on module. The size of it is, as mentioned, more or less the size of a credit card, also the depth of it. This is more or less the size. The blue square that you can see in the front is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, for example. So it's not only, so what you can see here in the SOM as a computer is the processor, the memories, Ethernet PHYs, all what is required in order to have a complete system. And in addition, you can also have different radios. On the right-hand side, you can see the IoT gateway with the SOM already installed there. And the IoT gateway also adds additional functionalities. So if it's a single board computer, so you can really use the complete device, the full IoT, as a device in your design. For example, if you're doing a communication product and you want to add a gateway inside it, or if you're doing a sensor device and you want a gateway, you can just use our gateway and aggregate your sensors. It has on it, for example, cellular modem. It can have also other interfaces, but I won't go into it deeply. I just mentioned that it's a standard form factor, which means that we comply to certain definitions that the standard requires. Our customers can move between different modules so that they can buy from us, they can buy from our competitors, which means it's an open standard. People can move between, they're not tied to us. That's very important to customers. Some of our SOMs, for example, we have Spark 100 and Spark 102, which are based on Intel PSG Cyclone vSoft, which is an FPGA and also ARM Cortex A9, Spark 501, which is based on Microchip, which is ARM Cortex A5, and the Spark 7, which we discussed just now.
Great. Yeah, I want to remind.
Looking at the gateway, you can see its function.
I just want to remind anyone that's watching to if you have questions for Ramon or Guy, you can post them in YouTube or Facebook or in the chat here, or interrupt us, and we'll get those questions answered. So.
Okay, so this is the last presentation. This is a light slide of our product line, which is not a 96 board. You can see the IoT gateway functionality. Right-hand side, the cloud. Left-hand side, you can see the devices and the smart applications in the middle. So just in order to explain what this device does. So in order not to go too much about our SOMs and gateway, I'll just move right away to the 96 boards. So let's just talk about the list of boards that we have right now. So this session is focused on the LTE and sensor Mezzanine, which is just being released right now. Next to be released is the Max 10, based on Intel Max 10 FPGA, so it's the Mezzanine. It will be released next month. We have another cellular modem Mezzanine, the LTE Cat M1 NB1 Mezzanine. As its name is, for low-speed cellular communications for IoT, the Cat M1 and the narrow-band one. And we have another board, which is a BOS sensor Mezzanine, which will be released in September. So let's just jump on the Shiratech LTE and sensor Mezzanine. You can see it on the right-hand side. So from what we understand, it adds to the community a high-speed mobile connectivity. Until now, there was not such a Mezzanine, as far as I know. So now we have it. And during Linaro Connect Hong Kong, I had a lot of people saying that they're really looking forward to have it and to use it. And it was really, for a long time, it was missing. It is based on a QuickTel LTE, so we support LTE, UMTS, HPA. You can see all the generations that are covered here. Typical application is of course, first of all, to connect video, any high-speed communications. For example, an example application can be a security camera. If you add to it also the sensors, which we'll go into it in a minute, It also adds capabilities for autonomous systems, like, for example, like a drone, for a car that can drive, or a robot, and so it fits. So it fits perfectly for any Board 96 processor. But what we did until now, we fully integrated it with the Arrow Dragon board 410C. So you can just take our Mezzanine, connect it to the Dragon board, and it will work. So no need to integrate any software or develop. With the Arrow Dragon board, is fully operational right now.
Yeah, and so I did just share the link to this LTE board. It's already been posted on 96boards.org. I know. Can we go back to those release dates? One slide up. So the board should be released sometime within July. And then we are also looking forward to more boards from Shiratech. As you can see, 3 more. So there's going to be quite the line cart on 96boards.org over the next few months. So you'll start to see all these pop up. We plan on hosting a bunch of resources. We plan on hosting a bunch of documentation and support on our forums. So, you know, please stay tuned as these boards become more available. For now, we've launched this one up onto the website, so you can go poke around and see, you know, more about. You can go read everything about this board. In fact, we've pretty much put everything that Shiratech has offered. There's a product brief, and you can even, I think, there's no link to Arrow just yet, but the link to Arrow should be coming soon.
Okay. So I'll just continue. We see here the block diagram of the sensor, of the LTN sensor diagram. Guy, do you want to explain the block diagram?
Okay, we can go over it briefly. Okay, so like Ramon mentioned, the main component here in this Mezzanine is first of all the LTE modem. But other than the LTE modem, we've added 4 sensors. We've selected them so that they will act as a complete set of sensors that will fit a lot of applications. First of all, we have the BNO55 from Bosch. It's a 9-axis absolute orientation sensor. It's a great sensor. You can just get any movement on any axis from this board, and maybe we can see it later in the demo. You can get a lot of info from it. It's great for any application that involves something that moves in space. Okay. Then we've added the ADUX1020 from Analog Device. It's a gesture and proximity sensor. I think it's self-explanatory. Okay.
Well,
it measures short distance movement in short distance. Okay, like the one that we have in every mobile phone. The next sensor from ST, the VL53, also involves measuring distance, but this range sensor measures much larger distance. So for every autonomous or for every application that involves something that moves around, it could be great to measure distances from objects while you approach them. The last one is a temperature sensor, a high accuracy temperature sensor, but it's a temperature sensor. All sensors are connected to I2C bus, and like Ramon mentioned, we really want that the operation of this Mezzanine will be as simple as possible. And we aim that the user will be able to use it out of the box with the standard Linaro Unix distribution. So for example, let's say this Mezzanine is fully operational with the standard Debian distribution that you have on 96 board. It supports the modem, it supports I2C, so you can access all the sensors and get all the information from the sensor. So you take the modem, you take the mezzanine out of the box, and you just you can start using it and start your development.
Yeah, I think it was actually pretty amazing when you sent us some samples, right? And Sahaj was one of the first people who got to test this mezzanine out. The first thing he sends me is something like, "Holy crap, it just worked!" Like he just plugged it in. He's like, "It just worked." But so I want to offer real quick a little bit more about kind of what the capabilities of this mezzanine is on a I want to say like on maybe like a lower level or a higher level. But basically, a use case for this, right, is, you know, kind of somewhat IoT focused, even though it's such a vague term. But think about planting this board, right, in just some location and not needing to really worry about it for so long, right? So you can go put it somewhere, monitor, collect data, and send it, right, in low doses to anywhere. Because the board has all of these sensors and the ability of LTE, I mean, I'm just going to use a silly example, but you could go throw it in a trash can, monitor the environment of the trash can, and then collect the data and use it, right? Or you could throw it in the jungle. Or, for example, I'm already thinking of what I could use it for is my little solar kit here that I have. I could just go plant this somewhere where there's no internet and throw in an LTE mezzanine in there, get access to signals, throw this down, and just collect data anywhere I want while simultaneously keeping it powered and off the grid, completely off the grid, right? So these are applications that you can use this mezzanine for, and this is a kind of kit that, you know, will offer also big educational applications.
Yeah, I think another use case that I was personally thinking was a weather balloon.
A weather balloon, yeah, or a space station. Shiratech in space? Is Shiratech in space yet?
Not yet.
But
We're on the beach. We're on the beach.
On the
I'm
beach,
not sure
there you
if LTE is in space yet. So
we'll bring LTE to space.
bring LTE to space, yeah. Cool, yeah. So I mean, the applications are pretty much endless, but you know, you get the idea, right? You're able to now take a 96 boards and isolate it somewhere to collect data without the need of, you know, connecting it to your Wi-Fi or connecting it to your home network, right? You get LTE, and you have a bunch of sensors to play with too. So bonus.
Yeah, and this combination of the Dragon Bird and the LTE mezzanine gets a lot of interest. We've been in a few exhibitions so far, and a lot of people see it and see the options, and would like to use it as is, with just a Dragon Bird with the LTE mezzanine, and then just connect your sensors and collect data and send it somewhere.
Nice. Well, so okay, are we going to keep talking about the LTE mezzanine, or do we have another one?
I was thinking let's do the demo first and then, you know, kind of move on to the other boards.
Okay.
Great idea.
Okay, so one second though, before we do the demo, there's a question from Tyeth in the chat, and he asks, what other main boards have you tried it with successfully? So has this LTE mezzanine been tested on any other 96 boards?
Yes, we have actually a cooperation with an engineering team of Aero Electronics, and they do compatibility test for our products with different main boards. The LTE mezzanine was tested so far with the Chameleon and Meerkat, as far as I know. And now they are trying to operate it with the Dragon Board 820. And I hope it will work soon. I think
so that means
some work should be done there with the 820, but with the one that I mentioned, I think it works out of the box.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be a lot of work to do because the LTE bit is all over USB. So there aren't any specific drivers. maybe needed to. So as I said, the 18.01 release that I tested this on was before the I've like got LT Mezzanine. So it just worked.
Yeah, and so for anyone who's interested, when this board becomes available, if you want to do a contribution, right? If you own the high key 960 and you want to work with this board, well, I would imagine the contributions are accepted, right? I mean, especially on the 96 board side of things. So, I mean, if you did want to document any sort of guides or throw together any instruction sets for this mezzanine around any of our other boards, we have the channels for you to do that. So, contributions welcome. Great. Did you want to show the demo now, Saj?
Yeah, can you pin the other screen?
Oh, yeah. So would you mind stopping the screencast real quick, Ramon?
Yeah, I think I like to continue.
Oh, okay.
There it is. Yeah, I like showing.
Did you want to wait? Were you about to? You were about to go on to the next board, right?
No. We'll go with Saj. I stopped sharing.
Oh.
That's fine.
Okay, great. So, Haj, let's go on with the demo. You take the floor.
Right. I mean, can you pin the screen?
Oh yeah. Here, let me do that. Pinned. There you go.
All right, nice. So actually looking nice and clear on my screen. This is the LT Mezzanine, the one that I have. Now, this is the main LT module, and you have your little antenna here that goes on the coax right there. My first question was actually what's the second coax for?
For the GPS antenna.
Oh, nice. And if we move it forward, that's the demo. So we have a fair bit of data coming in from all the sensors. You can see the proximity sensor right there, accelerometer, temperature, and the range sensor. So the range sensor works if I move my hand a little bit closer. It changes quite a bit. And then the other sensors, the accelerometer, gyro, and compass, I move the setup around, that all changes. We did hang.
It looks like the feed froze. Oh, there we go.
All right, yeah. So those are just the raw data from the sensors. Yeah, so I was talking about how easy it is to kind of connect. And all you need to do is go into the where you have your Wi-Fi network options, and you can just select your mobile broadband from there. It will ask you your APN, so you'll have to add that, which is, is pretty easy to find out. You can even check your phone for it, but you just open this up in the GUI and connect it. There's no command line or anything that is required. I can actually do a quick speed test just to show you.
So you're connected to the LTE right now, right?
Yeah.
And this is just the SIM card out of your phone?
Yeah. So it takes a micro SIM, and I need to refresh it or something. Oops, just a second.
So just to let everyone know, right now what Sahaj is doing is he has a Dragon Board 410C with the LTE sensor Shiratech Mezzanine clipped on top, and he is running the standard Lenaro Debian operating system. So that's what's happening. He just boots it up and gets everything running. So this is the speed test.
Yeah, that is, it's around 5.5. It goes up a lot, so that's mostly being restricted by the ISP, but it actually performs really well.
Well, so everyone knows, right? I'm not sure who's done the search before or who knows the data for this, but basically LTE, what speeds are between 5 and 12 megabits per second, right? I think you did a video earlier this month or the end of last month, where you achieved 10 megabits, right? On this exact same board, you almost capped it out at what the top LTE speeds would be. And here you are getting about 7. So, I mean, that's not bad. And it does vary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've
awesome.
gone ahead to SoundCloud and whatnot, and like just had it stream music for hours, and it just like works fine.
Perfect. All right. Well, so there you are. That's the LTE mezzanine at work. You got to see all the sensors in action. Did you have anything else to show, Saj?
No, that's about it. If you guys want to see something else, then I can.
Let's see. Show us back to the board real quick. Point us back to the board, Saj.
Yeah.
Can you just quickly kind of point at some of the key components on there?
So, that's the 4G module. The SIM card goes underneath there. These are the antennas, the socket for the antennas, and this is the antenna that you will get with the when you buy the LTE mezzanine packaged in. Again, you can stack more mezzanines on top, so the high speed and low speed headers are there, and then all of the sensors are just along this line right there. So that's the gyro and accelerometer. This is the time of flight, and I think this one's the gesture sensor.
So I have a question then for Ramon and Guy while we have this in view here. And Sahaj, maybe you can point it out. But so like I just mentioned, you have the Dragon board underneath this mezzanine, right? And then you guys decided to bring up the low speed and the high speed header. Now this is usually intended for stackability, right? So did you build this mezzanine capable for stackability? Can I bring on another mezzanine and put it on top of this one without problems?
Yes, we did it exactly for the reason you mentioned. We just starting testing it. It's not fully tested yet, but yes, we drive up both the low speed and the high speed connector. So let's say if we go back to the typical applications that we discussed before, for example, if you would like to connect a MIPI camera, for example, you can use the high-speed connector to do that.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so there's other mezzanines out on the market, right? If you just go to 96words.org and check out the mezzanines, there's plenty of other mezzanines. I mean, you can picture saying, okay, well, there's plenty of sensors on this board, but I'm missing this one sensor that I really want. Okay, well, how can I get that? Maybe there's another mezzanine that offers that. Maybe there's just a way to connect it. And so Shiratech provided a way for all of these I/O pins to be kind of accented above their mezzanine as well. You don't see this with all mezzanines that come out, which I personally appreciate it when the high speed and low speed are brought above the board as well. So that's nice for stackability.
Just one remark, please, Robert. In case you are stacking, of course, you have to do some research, because if you are going to stack a mezzanine that uses the interfaces that we used, you have to make sure that there is no contention. For example, we use the I2C sensors on the I2C 0 bus. If you connect another I2C sensor, you have to make sure that you don't use the same address, which will make problems, of course. So it's your responsibility as a developer when you are stacking mezzanines to make sure that there are no contentions on the buses. This
Awesome.
is why I mentioned the MIPI, for example, because we give the connector, but we are not using it on our mezzanine. So if you will connect a MIPI device, there will be no problem. If you are connecting I2C, you have to check it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of questions that popped up in the chat here. I'm gonna read them out real quick. Anyone can answer them. So the first one is from Rajan. He says, and I think this was back when you were showing the sensor data, Sahaj. It says, what are you using to show the raw data? What is this dashboard built in?
Okay,
So I think Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, Shiratech sent me the
Okay.
demos, and I did a little bit of research before I got those, and you can access almost one of the Bosch sensors are actually available with UPM, so LibM or AA, and the other ones can be accessed via your the IOCTL library using C.
Okay. Ramon, did you want to add to that?
No, it's Guy. I just wanted to say
I'm
that
sorry,
the
Guy.
concept of this demo is that we built a server, a web server, that on one end collects the data from the I2C. On the other end, you just open a web browser. The question was, I think, how did we build the dashboard? So the dashboard it's just a web browser page. It's a simple HTML, and it accesses the server and gets the data. For now, it's just the raw data. In the next version, it will be more visual.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
it
that
seemed interesting. It was just a web browser, right? So I saw Sahaj open up just a web browser and show us the raw data. So it would be really interesting to kind of have that also as a project, right, Robert? I don't know. Just showing the raw data from the Mezzanine with that dashboard. Maybe if we
Yes.
can publish that as a project, that's an
Oh
interesting
yeah,
thing.
absolutely. Yeah. So we'll have to talk with the folks from Shiratech afterwards. Ramon, basically offline, we host projects on 96 boards and on the Qualcomm Developer Network. Rajan is talking more so specifically about the Qualcomm Developer Network. And so if you're willing to provide us with any source or any information about these projects, we can host them on the Qualcomm Developer Network and the 96 boards projects page. That would allow people who buy this board better access and better bring up time when they want to start playing with demos.
It sounds really sensible. Let us get back to you, but it sounds like a really good idea.
Okay, yeah, we can talk offline about that.
Yeah, we can talk offline about that. Yeah.
Cool. So let's get to the rest of these questions, and then we can go back to the slideshow because we still have roughly about 17 minutes. So another question. This is from Tayef. He's asking about the 4G network. He says there's a double speed 4G in the UK on the EE network. I believe this uses dual channel version in 2 different bands. Would such a thing also be possible?
I'm not sure. Need to check the specifications of this specific model. Maybe also with your specific provider. I personally just out here, I cannot say. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, and so Tayef, I guess if you want to bring that question to the forum, it's possible that we can get Ramon or Guy in there to answer that when they've done some research or something, and we can share it, or someone else from their team can help out. Another question here from Ragnar is, what type of coax connectors are those?
I frankly don't remember the name of the standard.
That's all right.
I will
it's
give
all
it
right.
to you also offline.
Okay, Ragnar's here. Ragnar's here every week, so we can share it with him next week.
I think I have the data sheet. I think I have the data sheet for the antenna, so I can give me 2 minutes on it. Okay,
so Sahaj can post that in the chat then for you there, Ragnar. So I'm not going to read all that, Taya. Actually, I will. So Taya says, it turns out that it's called 4G EE according to marketing. Average speeds on EE 4G network are 12 to 15 megabits. Yeah, so I won't read the whole thing, but yeah, I was actually reading right here on the side that you can actually get peak downloading speeds on LTE up to 50 megabits. So I didn't know that. You can have 5 to 12 megabits is kind of average, but sometimes it can peak up to 50 megabits. So those are pretty crazy speeds. I mean, my home network is 100 megabits, and you're getting up to half of that on a cell phone. That's pretty amazing. So
the LTE specification speaks about the modem specification speaks about 150, and 50 megabit uplink and 150 downlink.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Too much to keep up on here for me. Okay, I guess it's time. We'll still take questions. Anyone who has questions, feel free, raise your hand. Okay, we got one from YouTube here, from Ranjan Kumar. He says, what are other components that can be connected with this board? So I guess this is kind of use case specific, but maybe one of you guys want to give a use case.
I think a guy actually answered it, because actually you can connect to it any mezzanine, but you just need to make sure that, as a guy says, that there's no contention between the different interfaces. So you just need to check how the interfaces are there, and that there's no collision between the addresses, and that's it.
Yeah, so I'll share an example here. For instance, you have the LTE mezzanine, which is plugged on top of the Dragon board, but they break out the low-speed header, right? So here's another mezzanine. This is just a sensor mezzanine, right? Now, you can take this mezzanine with the low-speed header, and you can plug this on top of the LTE mezzanine, right? But if this board is using any of the things that the LTE mezzanine is using, you can't use those parts. You can only use pieces of this mezzanine that do not clash with the LTE mezzanine utility. So that's kind of a very simple example. There would be other mezzanines that are out there. For instance, this one, this is the MIPI mezzanine. So this is a camera mezzanine also right here. So let me show again, Sahaj, I'm going to pin your chat here. So Sahaj, you can see at the top of the mezzanine there on the pinned, you see the high speed and the low speed header are being brought up through the mezzanine. So I can plug this one on top there, taking advantage of what the LTE mezzanine is doing, plus adding on a camera mezzanine to that to give it more function. Oh, there you go. Sahaj is adding another mezzanine on there. Let's see if you, did you already test that, or are you going to burn something?
I guess
hopefully not. So there you go. You just stacked another mezzanine. All right, cool. Let me unpin this now. So that hopefully that answers your question there, Ranjan, from YouTube. Now another question from we'll keep taking these questions. Another question from Angie here is when you connect another mezzanine with additional sensors, do you have to customize the dashboard for the data?
Yes, of course. This dashboard was developed especially for this mezzanine and our sensors. It's tailored specific for this mezzanine. Okay. It's not like a cloud dashboard or something like that you can just customize.
Yeah, so custom dashboard, and I think they mentioned it was HTML based dashboard that you guys just took the raw data and then put it up onto HTML dashboard.
Yeah. Exactly. We developed this demo just to be supplied with the board, that everyone that buys these boards gets it in the box and just can start using it out of the box.
Excellent. And this question just came in from Ranjan, and I think this will be the last one. We'll go back to your presentation so we can finish it. But what will the cost be of this device? Do we know? Are we allowed to talk about it yet?
Yes, of course.
We are. I don't remember the cost, but there are two versions. One version is only the LTE modem, and another version that has the sensors and the modem. So if you want only the modem, you can have it, and then of course the cost is lower.
Okay, cool. So Ranjan, just keep up to date with the 96 Boards Twitter. We make announcements for every new board that gets released once it becomes available to purchase. So we will always be announcing stuff on the 96 Boards Twitter. That's just at 96 Boards. Or you can just keep in touch with the 96boards.org website, right? So you go to the mezzanine page and just refresh all day until until it pops up there. So let's go back to the slideshow, Ramon. Is that okay? Because okay. I'm very excited about these other mezzanine boards, and I want to see pictures of them. I haven't seen pictures of them yet. Like, I guess I kind of have, but I haven't heard much about them yet.
Okay, so start sharing.
This is for all the Raspberry Pi users out there, Raspberry Pi and Arduino users.
So before the Raspberry Pi, we talked a lot about LTE. So Actually, we know that most of IoT use cases are low speed, and that is why we have developed also a low speed mezzanine that is conforms to the LTE Cat M1 and NB1. You can see the speed here. We talked about megabytes before, or 58 megabit per second, and here we have 300 kilobits per second download and 375 kilobits per second upload. This also has a GPS. This is more for a typical IoT application. If you have a pump, you have a generator somewhere, and you have all kinds of sensors, and you want to transmit the data, this is the most cost-effective way to do that. And of course, low power if you wanted to work on battery. So we have a high-speed one, which I believe the main application will be a camera, and the low-speed one for the sensor data.
So is this the one you were talking about a minute ago, that we'll have two LTE mezzanine?
Sorry?
Is this the second LTE mezzanine? Is this the one you were talking about without sensors?
No. The previous, we have, okay, sorry if I confused you. So we have the LTE and sensor mezzanine can come in two flavors. One, just LTE, and the other LTE and sensors. And this is the high-speed LTE. This mezzanine has only the modem, the cellular modem. So the low speed, the Cat M1 and NB1 doesn't have sensors on it. It's just cellular communications.
Great. Makes sense.
Okay, we assume that you'll connect your sensors. But maybe you can stack our other sensor mezzanines that you'll see after that.
Yeah.
So here's the Shiratech Max 10 FPGA mezzanine.
Oh, this
Just
is
to
the
say
one.
that it's, yes, that's the one. So it's based on an Intel Max 10 FPGA. The correct device is the M04. The idea here that it can have two functionalities. One is just as an FPGA where you can add any interface or boost a real-time application, what regular FPGA devices enable you for your application. The other functionality is the functionality that we gave it already. So that was actually our project on the FPGA, which is supporting Raspberry Pi and Arduino and also Grove interfaces in order to enable migrating projects from these communities to the Board 96 community. So the idea here is that if there is a project, for example, in an Arduino project, you can take an Arduino Shield, the project, connect it to your 96 board mezzanine and device, and do your project on 96 boards.
So I'm guessing
Go ahead, Zach.
Please.
I'm guessing our Raspberry Pi header would have a 3.3 volt pinout, and the Arduino one would have a 5 volt pinout.
They have for voltages, they have the specific both voltages on them. For IOs, yes, they have, each one has the specific voltage that it requires.
So I want to kind of touch on how badass this is, right? So for instance, a lot of times, there's things that Arduino is awesome. Raspberry Pi is awesome. 96 boards is also awesome. But the thing is that, sometimes there's things that you want to do on an Arduino that the Arduino is best at, right? But what happens when you need something that the Arduino can do, but also something that a 96 boards can do? So I guess what I'm trying to get at is that you now have the ability to take the power that an SoC on a 96 boards can do, the utility of a microcontroller like the Arduino, and offload, move things back and forth, right? So take a project that you worked on with the Arduino and then push certain aspects or add functionality to it by integrating it in with the 96 boards. So this gap is now kind of officially, hopefully at some point, going to be merged now, right? So we have this bridge between the ecosystems, 96 boards, Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and of course, something that's already existed, but the ability to connect Grove sensors to a Mezzanine as well, which is very complementary, very nice. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. I'll stop sharing the slides just to show the board. Guy will show the board. So I suppose I need to stop sharing it. 1 minute. Okay. Guy, I think we should. Yeah, 1 minute. Okay.
Okay, so we are here. So this is the FPGA Mezzanine, and this board was very fun to develop. From R&D's point of view, it was great because it started as an FPGA Mezzanine. We wanted to put the FPGA on top of it, and then we had a lot of pins, and we started thinking, okay, what can you do with it? And we decided to put the Arduino connectors because, the Arduino shields are so popular and so common, and you have such a big variety, and that was a great chance to bring those shields to the 96 boards community. So we started with it, then added, okay, if we have more place, let's add the Raspberry Pi too. And then we had some more place, so we've added some Grove shields, some Grove connectors as well.
It's a good thing you ran out of place.
Yeah.
Well, so, okay, I think one of the big questions here, and Sahaj was kind of trying to hint at this with asking about the voltage outputs for the Raspberry Pi section and the Arduino section. So if you didn't notice, when you're looking at this board that Guy is holding up, you'll see, I'm going to pin your, can you just hold it up there again real quick? I'm going to pin your, there. Okay, so when you're looking at this board, you can see the Raspberry Pi pins. So it has the 2.54 millimeter pitch, 2 by 20 pins up on the top left, and then you can see the 2 rails for the Arduino pins right there. And so basically my question is, are these the exact pinout and voltage that would be offered from a Raspberry Pi and an Arduino? Can I literally hook on a shield without worrying about anything, and it would replicate? Okay. Oh, okay.
We started again. We do a very great project with the Aero Engineering team. They took this Mezzanine and started testing a lot of Arduino shields. They have a big line of it's called IoT everything, I think. A lot of sensors, Arduino format shields, and they started just making compatibility tests with this one, and it all works perfectly fine.
Amazing.
And soon, when you go to the Aero website, on each sensor page, you can see on each shield page, you can see that it's compatible with this Mezzanine.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I think we should get ready to launch that on 96 boards very soon. Yeah.
Well, we have it in August. We have an open hour in August for the FPGA.
So we'll get that page up real soon. Now, the question is also how again, are we allowed to talk about this? But do you know how much this board is going to cost?
Roughly about $75.
Oh, okay. I was expecting more, to be honest. Yeah. So that's we won't hold you to it. How about that? We won't hold you to it. Yeah. So that's very cool. So $75 Mezzanine that allows you to basically bridge the gap between 96 boards, Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and Grove. Very, very nice. So another question here coming in from Taya. He says, now the Bosch sensor board is really intriguing. Can we hear more about that? So I think that's the next one on the list, right?
Okay, we'll go there.
The Bosch sensor Mezzanine. So yeah, real quick, I just want to let everyone know who's on the call. Usually this is about the time when we start closing out. The show is usually an hour, but we're gonna keep going. So don't feel bad if you drop off. We won't we won't start frowning because this is usually the hour long, but we're going to keep going, possibly another 10 to 15 more minutes. So please stick around. We'd love it if you stick around.
One last question on the Max 10. What's up with the dual internal configuration? Very curious about that.
Okay. So the dual configuration is related to the FPGA configuration. We all know that in order for the FPGA to run, you have to burn an image. So, and sometimes you have to do field upgrade, or you want to upgrade your image and with the new version. The dual configuration allows you to keep the original bank and download a new bank. If everything goes fine, you switch to the new bank. If something went wrong, you can always go back to the first configuration, so you don't get the board bricked.
Yeah, there's a failover.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's like the dual bias configurations we have. One overclock, one round, you can always switch back.
Okay. So this is the Bosch sensor mezzanine. So here there's a stack of sensors that we thought could be handy for different applications. And again, we're talking about a community of developers. So we threw in a lot of sensors here that we thought that could be useful. So if you want to develop your application, you have a lot of sensors that you can pick one of them and use them. So there's no specific application around this mezzanine, just giving you a lot of tools to develop your projects. We can see that we have here a digital pressure and temperature sensor. There's a 16-bit digital triaxial acceleration sensor with on-motion interrupt. There is a 4-in-1, sounds like a supermarket, sensor with gas, humidity, pressure, and temperature measurements. There's a smart hub which integrates a 3-axis gyroscope, an integrated 3-axis accelerometer, and a programmable microcontroller, so you can do some coding on that. And the last one is a standalone geomagnetic sensor that allows measurements of a magnetic field in 3 axes. So it's a lot of sensors. Some of them are environmental, some of them are more in the positioning. You can choose which one you take here. That's the general idea. And also this you can stack.
Yeah, this is the one I'd like to send on a balloon.
Sorry?
This is the one I'd like to send on a balloon.
Oh.
So you can also see want to show the block diagram.
Yes, from the hardware point of view, or the design point of view, it's interesting because you see on the left there are sensors that connected straight to the I2C bus. Sorry, for the SPI bus. Standard connection directly to the low-speed connector SPI bus. On the right side, there is a demonstration of the sensor hub. The Bosch sensor hub is a nice device. It can connect multiple sensors. And here it's like bridging the I2C bus. So all of the sensors could be connected to the left side on the SPI bus, but here we also demonstrate the I2C bus and the capability to connect sensors to the smart hub.
May I just say, this is interesting. This is almost like a demo board from Bosch, and maybe you should consider offering like trial boards to like demonstrate new chips on behalf of other partners.
So this work was done in cooperation with Bosch.
Of course. Yes, of course.
And of course, we are interested with cooperation with the other vendors as well.
Yeah, so we've also had some talks with folks from Bosch with 96 boards, and never know what'll happen, but it's very nice to see, you know, partners interacting and getting stuff like this pushed out, because, you know, this is here kind of proof of the growth of 96 boards. And I love to see stuff like this.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So we are, I'll stop sharing. This is the end of the presentation.
Okay. Cool.
Here.
So are we done with the presentation then? That's it?
That's it. I can show you another one if you want.
No, let's just start over. Do it again.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah. No, yeah. Okay, so I had a couple questions, but you know, I kind of feel that the whole call kind of got filled up with community questions, which I love. I could put my questions with some answers in the blog that I'll be posting later. I have to ask, Ramon, Guy, is it okay if I share your presentation in the blog that I'm going to post later? Is it okay?
We'll be very happy if you do that. Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you
now,
very much.
This is it. You guys have the last say here before I go into my closing announcements. I have a few more links I want to share, a few more things I want to say, but I give you guys the floor for any last remarks.
So we are very excited working with 96 boards. You can see it with our roadmap of mezzanines, and we're also very happy to cooperate with other vendors, if you've seen with the Bosch guys. So we are going to continue this work, and we're really happy about it, and we hope to see this community grow. And we hope that also work that is being done on these mezzanines will be also able to leverage also on our SOMs, our other product line. Need to see how we connect between the two lines in order to have some leverage here. But it looks like really a vibrant community, and we are very happy to be here.
Excellent. Guy, did you want to say goodbye?
Yes, like Ramon said, we are not for a long time on the 96 boards community. It's only about 6 months. And of course, we are very happy and excited. We love the boards, we love the concept, and we love to continue and sending you some more boards. Actually, there is a lot of work being done that Ramon did not mention yet, but you can expect more mezzanines and maybe even a carrier board, but I've said too much.
Oh, well, you heard it here, folks. No, that's awesome. Yeah, sneak peek. Ramon, Guy, you know, it's been more than a pleasure having you. Thank you for taking the time to put together the presentation. Thank you for taking the time to interact with us here on Open Hours. You know, we really appreciate it, and I just want to extend the warmest welcome. If you guys are always welcome to come back, and I know we have a call scheduled in August, okay? But you can come back whenever you want. Interact with our other featured guests, or schedule more shows to come in and share the work you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank
you.
you for the people that took the time to hear us. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Saj.
Thank you.
Thank you, Saj.
Yeah, thank you, Sahaj, for doing that demo. Appreciate it.
Yeah, right.
Sahaj doesn't get enough thanks, I don't think. Yeah.
Well, thank you again. Thank you, Saj.
All right. Well, there you have it. We just did our interview / showcase with the folks from Shiratech Solutions. I'm going to share the link for their website one more time here. So please feel free to go visit www.shiratech-solutions.com. You can see all of their services and the products that they talked about today. I want to remind everyone that we are here every Thursday without missing a beat. I think the only Thursday we take off every year is Thanksgiving. So we're here every Thursday, 4 p.m. UTC. You can find us in this channel or on our YouTube live link. Now, if you want to interact with us throughout the week, we are available in our IRC channels. You can go to IRC, any client that you want to use, and join #96boards and #OpenHours. There you'll find us. My handle is SD Robert W. Sahaj's handle is Rick96. That's RIC96. And, you know, drop us questions. Tell us what you want to do, how you want to interact with us. is up to you. There we are every week. Now, do I have anything else here? I think that's it, other than announcing next week's guest. So next week, I did mention this in our phase 2 kind of outline pilot video that we made at the end of last phase, episode 100, was that we're trying to focus a little bit more on everything tech, not specifically 96 boards. And so next week, we're going to have one of our first guests who joins us from a side of technology that isn't related to 96 boards at all. So we're going to be talking about 3D printing with Mr. Andrew Stott. I believe, I hope I pronounced that right. And, Stolt. And his handle on Instagram is Disrupt It Yourself. So we'll share a link right here in the chat, hopefully in the description as well, for anyone who's interested in meeting Mr. Andrew and the Disrupt It Yourself guy. Please join us next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. UTC. We'll see you then. Now we begin the transition of slowly turning off all of our recordings and live streams. So we'll say goodbye to the recording. Goodbye, recording.
Recording has stopped.
Goodbye. Facebook is turning off, so bye Facebook. And
The broadcast of Facebook Live has stopped.
Last but not least, YouTube. Good. We say goodbye, Sahaj.
Yeah, I mean, whosoever is on YouTube can actually join us for after hours.
I always hate saying goodbye to you guys on YouTube, but yeah, so you can shift on over. There's a link in the description of the video that gives the link to the Blue Jeans chat.
All right, bye.
Bye, YouTube.